Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor, and welcome to another episode of World of Crendor, where I answer the questions that you email into worldofcrendor@gmail.com. Do not be afraid to email in a question, because there is a possibility that it may get answered, because I read almost all of them. And even when I don't read them all, the next week I go back and look at older ones to see if there were any good ones still. So do not fret if your question has not been answered yet. And that's my poem of the day. Okay? Okay. Like that, I made the okay also rhymed. It was okay. First question. Hi, Crendor. First of all, I would like to apologize for any grammar errors. English isn't my first language. My question for your WoW section is about the stealing of ideas in the gaming industry. I often hear a lot of people talking about this lately, especially with Guild Wars 2 and Star Wars coming out soon. Comments like, WoW is probably going to steal everything from Guild Wars. Epic fail, Blizzard. Seems very weird to me. It looks like many people think using the ideas from other games is a bad thing. Personally, I don't think that it is that at all. Developers should always be on the lookout for ways to improve their content. I think it would be beneficial for WoW to use some of the ideas which are used in different games. For example, the more dynamic zones in Rift. Of course, Blizzard could give their own spin to it. I'm pretty sure WoW has used some ideas from other games to begin with. My question, do you think Blizzard should use ideas from different games if it would improve World of Warcraft? And what do you think of the concept of stealing game content in general? Is it really such a bad thing? Thanks for reading and keep up the good work. A big fan, Jelte. I probably said that wrong, but I gave it my best shot. Well, I am actually a big fan of stealing, but I'm not a big fan of copying. And let me explain that. So, a while back, I was watching, I believe it was Pirates of Silicon Valley, and it was like the computer war, and how like computers got started with Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, and they were like fighting like IBM and trying to get to the top. It was just a big war. And in the movie, there's an actual quote from Steve Jobs that he said in some interview, which was from Picasso, and Picasso said, "Good artist copy, great artist steal." And I thought that was such an awesome quote, and it's because if you look at games that copy other games, where it's they literally try to make that game, except like a different, like they try to copy it. Like what's a good example? Like Pokemon. So many people tried to copy Pokemon, but nothing could compare to the original Pokemon, because it was just that's the original. You're not going to beat the original. And stealing concepts is totally a different thing, because when you steal something, you take an idea and you make it better. That's what he means by like stealing. So like if someone has this great idea and they're not very good at executing said idea, you can steal that idea, make it better, and make it fit into your product, and then people will pretty much think it's your idea anyway. And that's what a lot of companies actually do. For example, Apple stole the graphical user interface and the mouse from Xerox. Yet if Xerox would have like just been like, "Oh, you can't have it, we're gonna use it on our own," they probably would have made a really crappy computer. And I think they did end up making a really crappy computer, and it was bad. So a lot of times it actually is good when people steal ideas, because they make them into good ideas, which is when people that are talented get ideas from untalented people that would have just ruined them. That's so swinging this back around to like WoW. WoW stole a lot of ideas when it first started and like implemented them into WoW. And that's what's happening now as we move forward. That's what's happened through like forever. Is like people will see other concepts in games and they will be like, "Oh, that's a really cool concept. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna make it better." But it's very hard to like distinguish between copying and stealing, because copying, you can tell when something's copied because it feels worse, which if you steal a good idea, it shouldn't feel worse, it should be better. And that's the main way you distinguish something, is like a good example is, like I said before, with like TV shows almost. Like or even, I guess it could be games, but TV shows are really easy. Like, you see a good TV show, like I don't know, it's a good TV show. Maybe like, you could say like Man vs. Wild, okay? Now, people might say it's fake or whatever, but it's still entertaining to watch. So you see that, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Now, if somebody were to like just copy Man vs. Wild completely, like, here's this guy, and he's British, and he's out in the wild trying to survive, and it's called Human vs. Wild, like, that's just blatant copying. But if you were to take that concept and maybe improve upon it, which I think they did with the show called Dual Survival, which they were like, hey, let's take this survival show and add another person into it and have like these clashing personalities trying to survive. Like, that's improving upon an idea that people enjoy, or that's like a really good idea. And I think that's the difference between stealing and copying. Overall, I think it is a good idea for games to steal from each other, or anything to steal from each other, if they're going to make that idea better. But I think it is a bad idea if they're just going to copy each other and can make just crappier versions of what's already out there. So that's my opinion on that. Next question. Hello there, Crendor. This is a question for the WoW section of your video. It has occurred to me that with Total Biscuit and Yogscast leaving WoW, that there will be a short variety of beta testers putting out videos for the upcoming WoW expansion. My question is this: will you be playing the beta and making videos on it? I understand that you have done Billy videos in Kata's beta, but will you be doing general gameplay? From Kanker Spank of Dathramar. It's an interesting name. But anyway, yes, I will be making Pandaria Beta, not Cataclysm Beta. That'd be kind of weird if they did that again. But like, to answer that question shortly. But I'm mainly doing it because last time I didn't get into Cataclysm Beta for like months after it had like came out. And so a lot of people had already got started, and I was kind of like, I made a few beta videos, but it is about stuff that like I hadn't really seen yet in the community. Like, I made a video about what druids look like, and a couple other ones. But yes, I will be on the Pandaria Beta bandwagon like a fat kid on cake. I just picked the most like stereotypical thing because I didn't feel like thinking very hard. But yes, and a lot of it's also because I've grown in viewership a lot. Like, the only other person I can think of that's going to be doing WoW stuff, WoW Pandaria Beta, would be like Jesse. And I will challenge, me and Jesse, I'm going to challenge him to like a duel of Pandaria Beta video making. I'm going to be like, whoever gets the most, well, actually he has like 150,000 more than me, so maybe not. But I'll put up a fight. I'm the underdog here. But yeah, I think I've answered this question for way too long already, so yes, I will be. And now for the LOL question. Hello, WoWcrendor. My question is for the LOL section. Do you think the constant release of 6,300 IP champs is a good or a bad thing? Paul. Good question, Paul. Short and to the point. I like it. I like your style. But anyway, it's hard to talk about that because a lot of people like to complain about that, and it is kind of like annoying since like every new champion costs that much, even if they might be really easy to play and should be on a lower IP price scale. But they do that because they know you're gonna buy it, and the fact that they've been doing it repeatedly now shows that people are buying the high-priced champions anyway. So, I mean, and they don't want you to spend IP, they want you to spend RP, because that's how they make money. So, it makes sense on a marketing aspect for them. While, if you go to the forums, people will complain and be like, I can't, they have cheaper people, but I think they should like throw one in every once in a while, or even like, I've noticed that they've gone back and reduced the prices of like older champions, which that's good too, but I think after like a couple months they should consider the prices of those champions that have been 6,300 upon release, which is like every new one, and reduce the price down to a level that makes sense. But if I was Riot and I had to like release new champions every 2 weeks, or skins, because that's how they make money, is champions with RP and skins with RP, I would be very tempted to do what they're doing right now too, because you're like, let's imagine we're Riot. We're like sitting around this big marketing table, all right, and you're just like, all right, we could make the price half of 6,300, and we're gonna have everyone buy the champion, or we could make it 6,300, and all those people will still pay Riot points for it and buy it anyway. And what it probably comes out to is, if they lower the IP price, people are just gonna buy the new champion with IP, which that's not what they want, because they're not gonna make money. So that's the whole deal about that. I don't think there's much more I can say about it. Higher price, more money for them. Yeah, okay. Now for the random question. Dear WoWcrendor, I'm looking to purchase a new gaming PC and have a fairly decent budget to spend on it, and I notice in all of your WoW gameplay videos that the quality of the graphics is quite good. So I was wondering what your PC setup is and what you run your WoW video settings at. Thanks for reading, James C. Well, James, I've covered this in a previous one, but I get this question a lot still, so apparently people haven't watched that previous video, so I thought I'd go into it a little more. I think I only said like I didn't go through like all of my computer specs. Let's go through all my computer specs so we can talk about it. I have 8 gigs of RAM. It is G-Skill, I believe, and Windows 7 64-bit. I have a 6-core AMD 2 Phenom 2. It's pretty awesome. I think it's 3.3 or 3.7 gigahertz. I think you can overclock it to like a little more than that, but I haven't done that because I always like get paranoid with overclocking. I'm like, what if it melts? So I just keep it there. And I just bought a new video card, which is a 580 GT? I believe it's a GT. And before that, I had a 460 GT. So that was actually a pretty good card, and I would have kept that card had what I'm doing right now not been like my living. So if you're just like a casual gamer or something, you could probably spend like $100 to $200 on a video card and it will do just fine. But obviously I play with everything maxed out, and because I have to record with Fraps, and Fraps likes to use a lot of your memory and make giant AVI files, which is always fun. I have a 2 terabyte hard drive as well, and some external hard drives, which when you're making videos you kinda need that. But what else? I have a 650 watt power supply. I might upgrade that eventually, but right now it's doing fine. And Razer Black Widow keyboard. Listen to the mechanicalness of it. Yes, mechanical keyboard. And a Razer Death Adder mouse. It is awesome. I've had this mouse for years, and it's probably favorite mouse I've ever had. It is made like specifically for right-handed people. You can also get one specifically made for left-handed people. And I'm not a big fan of the new like Naga ones. Like, I tried it and it feels too big, and I don't like having all those buttons. I just like, this one has 2 buttons. There's like by your thumb. There's 2 buttons by your thumb, and that's all I want. And it feels good. I like it. And I think that's it. Yeah, pretty sure that's it. But if you had to build a PC on a budget, I would just build it yourself. Don't like go to all those places that build them for you unless you have the money to do it, but you don't since you're on a budget. So I would just slowly build your own or upgrade parts. So probably maybe start with like a motherboard and a good video card, and then, well, a CPU obviously. So okay, I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna be like, yeah, so you should like get a good, you know, motherboard and a video card and like a CPU and a hard drive and RAM. You should get all those. But you can probably build a pretty good gaming computer for like $600 to $700. Like, it's pretty cheap if you build your own now, and it's still good. So, and you learn a lot from building a computer. I've built 3 computers now, and I've learned a lot about computers just from doing that. So, I think it's a pretty good idea to do that. I would recommend it. And that's my story. Okay? Okay. And the final question. Dear WoWcrendor, I always have difficulty coming up with names for any character that I make, and I have reserved a name for my panda monk, which I got luckily before somebody else did. What I'm wondering is how you come up with the name Crendor. What gave you the idea of it? Was this just a random combination of letters, or did you give thought into it? Blazehoof. I thought up my name. Wait, it has been a long time. It has been... How long? WoW's like 7th year anniversary is like right now, I think. What is it? 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, I think it's their 7-year anniversary. And I started playing like a couple months after it was released. I think it was released, yeah, like November, and I started playing that January. So only like 2 months after release. That means I've been playing WoW for like 7 years. Oh my shizzle dizzle. But really, wow, that's crazy. But what, I forgot the question. Oh yeah, my name. So first character I ever made was Kagon. That is Billy, as you all know. Which I forgot to mention him in like some other thing, and everyone was like, "You forgot Billy!" So, yeah. But that was the first character I ever. No, it was that was the second character I ever made. He was the first Horde character I ever made. First, I made a dwarf, and that dwarf, I got to level 7 and then quit because I was like, I don't like the Alliance. So I went Horde, and I was like, this is awesome, and I got my Orc Hunter 260. And then I would get in instances. My friend was also a hunter. He was like a troll hunter. And we would like fight over the same gear. And I was like, this is stupid. I'm going to make another class. And so I made Crendor, which was an undead priest. And I'm pretty sure I just randomly got the name. I'm pretty picky with my names. And I was like going through names. And I think I was just clicking the random button. And it gave me like some assortment of like Crendor, but it was like Crendorn or whatever, and I was just like, oh, what if I got rid of this and it became Crendor, and I like it. So it's not a very interesting story, but that's the story. And then when I made my WoW channel, I wanted the YouTube name youtube.com/Crendor, but it was taken because I don't know why. Somehow, for some reason, someone made the YouTube channel Crendor. I was like, who would, why? Like, I wasn't even known yet somebody took my channel name. So, I have no idea. But then it became WoWcrendor. I kind of wish I had Crendor, because then it would make sense to have like other games on my channel, because it'd just be Crendor instead of WoWcrendor, and everyone's like, you're playing WoW because you're WoWcrendor. But then I'm just gonna end up making the meaning of it different. I'll be like, it's WoW Crendor. Like, you just add an exclamation point after the WoW. That's what it'll mean. And yeah, that's my amazing story of my name. Granted, Jesse Cox is OMFG Kata, so I mean, it doesn't really matter in the end of it. But yeah. That's it for this episode of World of Crendor. If you have a question, you can email it into worldofcrendor@gmail.com. Exciting. And if you want, you can make a video response. We had 1 video response last week, and that guy is awesome. Good job for making a video response. I gave him a smiley face comment. So, you can make a video response if you want, and I'll watch it. Okay? Okay. See ya!